Trump just won the shutdown. I was right about my prediction of the shutdown ending, but I was unpleasantly surprised by the 10 Dems that caved. Well, it wasn't 10, but about 8 or 9 of them that caved, one of which was my own congressperson, Dick Durbin. And you can see by the fact that they caved, even though Schumer said no, even though he said no, these are some of the same people who voted for that last shutdown to end. It's a traditionalist versus progressive thing that's happening. And I'm like, these motherfuckers. The thing that gets me is that the question becomes, of course, what happens with SNAP? We still don't know. They're still out there. It could be a rule judgment on the lower courts as they wanted the rule, Kadanji wanted from the Supreme Court in less than 48 hours. But the big weird part of this is that why did they cave? And the things that hit my mind when I think about why did they cave, and it comes down to why did they cave? They're all, most of them are over the age of 60, 65. They have good insurance. And they're making these decisions, and it just seems so unlikely for them to do so without just Schumer's head nod. I think our natural inclination must be, okay, what did they get in return for that? What did they get? But then the other thing that hits my mind in this era is, who's on that list? Who's on that Epstein list? Who's on the list? What do they got on these motherfuckers to do this? Because there are 2 or 3 of them I can see being part of that. They are part of that. Fetterman's always been somebody, but Durbin, there's something up. They got some shit on these people. Because for them to fold like that when we're winning. The more we held this shutdown on, the bigger the damn. And they're talking about, well, we're going to vote on the subsidies in December, and we'll let the Democrats choose which extension they want. They're like, we're only going to hang you in December. We'll choose, well, you get to choose what noose you want. We'll really follow through with that. We got nothing out of these 40 days. Nothing. And the thing that goes through my mind is, the first thing, I'm like, what do they get in return for this? Why would they take this deal? This is the thing we need to look at. Who's on the list? Who's getting something out of this? Because ending the shutdown and turning against Schumer, these are the same people, these are the same Senate Democrats who wouldn't dare turn against Schumer after he voted against the shutdown before. I think he's the architect behind it. And I think for some reason there's something going on. Keep in mind, Schumer, living out of New York, he has taken billionaire money. They even had it in the documentary about that 702 or 705 location in Upper East New York. And they had him, going by to see the billionaires and so on. There's something up, man. And the problem that we have here is, as I've said repeatedly, it's the progressives versus the traditionalists. The progressives said, fuck no. This one ain't Hakeem Jeffries' fault, because he sat there and said, yo, man, I rebuke this. I'm going to fight this when this comes over on my side tomorrow. But I am, here's the way that I'm processing this. We're going to have a big bloodletting out of the left. And I've talked about this many times on my channel about the issue that we have on the left. It is a ginormous issue that is on the left. We got a big one. We got a big one. I'm going to talk live tomorrow about this, tomorrow afternoon. So join me. I'll have the live pop up sometime overnight, and you can go over to the live section and look at it. My thing that goes through my mind is, it's one thing if we were losing, but we were winning. And we had them in a corner. And they still let this go. Something's up. And I think it's the old guys club who, out of the Democrats, that have just completely fucked over 20 million Americans. It was their game to lose. What did they get in return? What does the Republicans have on them? I mean, could it be Epstein? Could it be, something is up. Because why would you cave when you're not losing? Why would you cave when your base is saying, oh yes, shut it down. Hold the line, bitch. Hold the line. On TikTok, I got a video that got over 80,000 views on that, where I'm running around slapping white men talking about, hold the line. Could be ever truer than it was now. Oh my God. So what happens with the sampling? Again, in the courts, we're still fighting that. We're still dealing with that. Let me tell y'all something, man. Still, I say, I really got to look at it this way. I say our best days are coming, but it's not just the Republicans we got to start pushing out. We got to push out these traditionalist motherfuckers, because they are fucking us up. You win in the game and you lose. It was our game to lose, and we did. And Trump is going to come out and say, I totally beat the shutdown. I don't know why they did that. It'll come out, but I don't know why they did that. That makes no sense for them to make that deal. It made sense for Schumer on Friday to make the offer he made to extend the subsidies, and the GOP said no. But there was something in the last 36 hours that was weird, that went down behind the scenes that we do not know. We don't know. But there's something that went down that I'm going to find it out. But there's some weird shit that went down, because this deal makes zero sense. And they're fucking over their own base to do this with. That's the crazy part. They're doing this to their own base. And it's stupid. It's stupid. Unless they're covering their ass on something, or they're getting something for it. And that's what I want to know. Which Judas took their 20 pieces of gold, silver? Which one of these sellout Uncle Tom, white version of an Uncle Tom, do this? This is fucking ridiculous. Which one of these traitor Benedict Arnold motherfuckers did this to us? Because we know it had to be some money, or it had to be some blackmail of some sort to get them to do this. It makes no sense for this vote. If this vote goes down, there's still time. Stop the vote and reach out to these Congress people, but nah. Something's up. It had to take a lot for them to do that. A lot. And I am lost for what that might be. Other than Epstein. Other than some sort of past stuff that they did that they're covering up for. I mean, MTG said back in the day, remember when we had Gates? And she said, oh, like he's the only one. She was getting ready to bust it out. I think that's why Trump said, no, we ain't going to make you senator. We don't like what you saying. And frankly, I think that is one of the things that got her on the bad side of Trump, beginning of the end. And there are other people, and they may be on the Democratic side, but That don't make sense neither. I mean, maybe if they get caught with something, they don't get their pension. Maybe that, because these guys are getting ready to retire. They're out the door. Why would you have the guys out the door doing this? Unless you could threaten their pension or something like that. We're going to find out what it is. I'm not sure, but we're going to find out what it is.